Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first podcast. My name is Dino, and I'll be with you throughout the next couple of episodes. So, what's all of this gonna be about? This whole thing with me and my company, we're helping lawyers market their law firms. So, we're in that age when SEO isn't good enough anymore. If you look at plumbers in San Jose, literally everything you'll see for like the first 15 or 20 results are gonna be ads. And that kind of tells us that SEO isn't really a good way of marketing anymore. It's doable, but the amount of money you're about to spend just to get that first spot or within that first 15 spots, it's insane. And at this point, I started thinking, what can I do to improve that, to help lawyers and myself and other people get something better than that first spot? Because me being me, I'm never settling for less than I deserve. So if I had the first spot, I need something better to move on from it. And I guess all of you are the same. So I got into reading a lot of books, and I got to this idea where you would create your own audience of people that would eventually at some point hire you. And whatever happens, you cannot lose those people. Now I was at the point where I just needed to find out a way to make it happen. And after working with some people and reading a lot of books and doing a lot of research, I actually came up with the plan that actually works. So that's what I'm doing for myself, and that's what I'll be eventually teaching all of you guys in these podcasts and other videos that I'm about to put out. Just to make it clear, at this point, I'm not thinking of recording more than one podcast a week. So that same podcast will be reproduced and reused through some other types of content. Like I'll have my team cut out the small pieces that are important and put out as separate videos. So what are you hearing or watching now, depending on where you're viewing it, actually, like, this is the big part. This is everything. But if you're busy, and I know lawyers are busy, but if you don't have time to watch an hour podcast or 40 minutes of podcast and stuff like that, you can always go to my other social media where I'll be having blog posts, short snippets, and stuff like that that can actually be useful. So I'll be basically cutting out just the important parts and making them separate videos. So now when we got that clear, let's get on to the first podcast. And before I begin, if you're ready to knock your marketing out of the park without losing time, money, or getting screwed by a marketing agency, and you haven't downloaded my ebook, feel free to go and download it. Open up your browser on your phone, on your tablet, on your laptop, on your computer, and go to lawyermarketingebook.com. So the link, if you're watching this, will be on the screen, and if you're listening to this, it will be down in the description. So let's get started with this whole podcast thing. This is my first time doing a podcast ever, so bear with me, but I think it'll be good. So we're in the 21st century, year 2018 at the time I'm recording this. Basically, at this point, marketing is honestly getting screwed up. And the reason why is you have to put in a ton of work and a ton of money to get yourself out there. It's literally demand and supply. There's too much suppliers and too much demand, but it's actually like the amount of suppliers, it's really hard to get out there to get people to know about you. So here we're looking at lawyers. Let's be honest, like I'm in the state of California. Just in like San Jose where I live at, there's a ton of lawyers. So being the number one lawyer for everyone to call, number one personal injury lawyer, number one bankruptcy lawyer, it's hard. Hence why we're doing this thing that we're doing, and I'm teaching you this because I'm tired of crappy marketing agencies that just rip off their clients, take their money, and a lot of them actually give out fake like analytics, which from my perspective is not okay at all. But people use that, people do that. So our goal is not to make money out of this. Our goal is basically to help lawyers not get screwed. So how can you take control of it? How can you take control of your audience? And how can you be like independent of Google's algorithms or Facebook's algorithms or Instagram's algorithms or whatever you use? Basically, marketing at its core is asking people what they want and just giving it to them. And that, with the fact that people don't buy what they need, people buy what they want. So let's say you know you need a nice salad that's all healthy and like a healthy smoothie and stuff like that, but you end up getting a burger. So that's basically the point of it. People are getting stuff that they want to get, not the stuff they need. So you need to figure out who are your clients. Are they, if you're personal injury, are they construction workers? Are they motorcycle riders? Are they bus drivers? Whatever like you think they are. And then focus on that community. Let's say you're doing family law. So that's kind of us versus them type of thing. You have the fathers and you have the mothers of the children. You can work with both because that's like conflict of interest. But let's say you want to work with fathers or mothers, doesn't even matter. So you want to put out content that's going to help them get the custody of their children. So an example. So basically you need to provide them free value so they can look at you as an authority. So perfect example of this is, let's say you want to do photography and I'm your friend and you call me one day and you're like, hey, I know you do photography. How can I teach that? Can you like mentor me and be my coach and help me do it? And let's say I say yes, and I work with you on it every day, like 30 days a month for like 4 or 5, even a month. And if I'm giving you out this free value, this free content you need actually, or you eventually need and you're interested in, let's say a month later, your cousin calls you and she's like, I'm having this wedding and everything's already set up, but we're missing a photographer. Do you know any photographers, any good photographers? Who would you recommend to her? Are you gonna look for photographers, or are you gonna recommend the person that's helping you for the past month, 2, 5, 7, doesn't matter. That's the point of this whole strategy. Like, basically, you're giving out free value to people, and by doing that, you're putting yourself as an authority. So at some point, they will need you, or someone they know will need you, or your services, actually. When it comes to, let's say you're a personal injury attorney and you work with bikers, if a biker needs a lawyer and if you're providing value to him or to his friend, you're the one that's going to get the call. You're the one that's going to get the case. So basically, then it comes down to the fact, how can I do this? You need to provide something, some free content to people that's going to serve as a bait. And then after that, when you grab their email address, you can basically do with them whatever you want. You can put them in a Facebook group. You can put them on a Facebook page, even though I would not recommend it because in Facebook groups, 70% of the members see the post that you post. But when it comes to pages, literally less than 0.5% of the people that follow the page see the post. So groups is better. You can guide them to your YouTube channel. You can guide them to, I don't know, to your forum, to your blog, wherever you want them. And then whenever someone from that community needs your services, you're the one that's going to get the call. And I know a lot of young people follow me, people that are working for someone, people that are about to start their own company. And I know this is a big decision, like your marketing, literally your clients depend on your marketing. And the fact that this method kind of requires you to build that content every day, every 2 days, every week, whatever you decide, it takes you some time, but at the end, it's really worth it. And that's what it comes down to. Like, are you ready to commit yourself to this career? Are you ready to be a lawyer? Are you going to be a lawyer in like 10 years? Ask yourself. And if you are, ask yourself, what measurements are you ready to take in order to pursue that? So after that, you need to pick a niche. As I said, if you're a personal injury attorney, you can go with construction workers, bikers, bus drivers, whatever like you would want to work with. If you're doing family law, you can target divorced moms, divorced dads, whatever you like. So when you pick a niche, then you need to do something that's called ask campaign. Basically, an ask campaign is literally you going out in some shape or form, online, through phone, in person, and asking people, what do you want to know about personal injury? Asking, let's say, bikers, if you get in an accident, do you want to know the steps you need to take? Do you want to know how you can get lower insurance rates? Do you want to know how insurance companies are destroying bikers? And stuff like that. So basically, to do all of this, there's literally no technical knowledge needed because there's always people, basically a lot of them are overseas, but that doesn't matter, that will do all of this stuff for you for not a lot of money. So it's absolutely perfect and a good way of working because you're not spending a lot of money, you're not spending any of your time except on creating the content, and everything gets done fast, and it's a good work. It's quality work. So next to the SEO, we have the Google Map rankings when someone looks up your name. There's always a little section under the first couple of ads with Google Maps, and they are sorted by rankings. Of course, there are some ads in the Google Map rankings, but most of them are kept out of it. So basically the question is, can you get up on the Google Map rankings without paying them? And the answer is actually yes. You can get up as high as like under that last ad. I know it sucks, but it's better than being the 15th, 20th person and nobody actually knows about you. So to do that, your Google My Business profile has to be like clean, perfect. You have to have your hours, you have to have some pictures, location, website, everything. So when that's ready and set up, you need to have reviews, and you need to have a lot of them. If your competition is having 60 reviews, you need to get to 70 or 80. If your competition is having 30 reviews, you need to get to 50 or more. And if you could get those reviews to be a 5-star reviews, that would be even better. So then we come to the point where like, I'm asking my clients to leave me a review, but none of them actually do. They say they'll do it, but they don't do it. So what's the solution for that? It's actually pretty simple, because usually the reason why people don't leave you a review is, so you ask them like, please, can you leave a review for my company on Google Maps? It would help me and my future clients, blah, blah, blah. And they're okay with it. But then life happens. They go home, there's a problem with the kid in school, there's traffic, and they get pissed off because of it. And by the time they get home, 90% of the people forget about it. And actually, let's be honest, a lot of people are telling you just to like be polite. People don't want to waste their time. So what you can do actually is you can give them out some kind of a reward for it. Let's say you'll tell them, hey, you can get this $5, $10 Starbucks gift card if you leave me a review. By doing that, I'm more than 100% sure that they will. Or while they're waiting for you to get them a settlement check, you can tell them, hey, while you wait for me, can you please leave me a quick review? I'm more than sure that they will. So to make those reviews work better for you, so to make the whole process easier, you need to have like a ready template for an email or a text message or whatever you want to use, because you want it to be as easy as possible to access it. So you just go to look up your business, click on the leave a review button, and just copy the link. And that's the link you want to save. And tell them like, to help them, tell them like, where was the case resolved? What court? What was the case about? How are they satisfied? What city it was in? What state it was in? And by doing that, they'll actually do it because they don't want to think about it. They just want to get it done. And by telling them, by giving them those guidelines, you're actually giving them a ready template for their review, and they just need to fill it out. And actually, by answering to some of those questions, they're helping your review rank higher, because a lot of those answers actually serve as a keyword. And by doing that, your reviews will obviously rank higher. And actually, there's a little loophole in the terms of services of Google Maps that can actually help you get more reviews. So basically, they never said that a client has to leave a review. So I'm not telling you to go out and make like 50 Google accounts and write reviews about yourself. But let's say you have a friend or a neighbor or a colleague, and they can write like, okay, let's say your name is Mike. Mike is a good attorney. I respect them for the way he's resolving his cases. I love how hardworking he is and determined to get the best possible settlement for his clients, and I would definitely recommend him. That could be your secretary, that could be your neighbor, that could be your brother, sister. So it doesn't really have to be your client, but of course don't overuse it. Like if you need like 20 reviews, 4 or 5 of them can be like a random person. I mean, not a random person, but someone that's not your client. But at least try to get the other ones from the people that were actually your clients. If they're giving you a review from your office, make sure that they're on their cellular data. Otherwise, they're going to use your Wi-Fi, and you might get flagged for doing that. So make sure they're using their cellular data. So on your company's Google My Business profile, there's a phone number. And a lot of marketing agencies actually like transfer that phone number to a different service so they can track the amount of phone calls they get to it. Basically, that's not the issue. The issue is with the person that's picking up your phone. So is that your secretary? Is that you personally? Or do you have that, hey, press 1 for this, press 4 for this, press 5 for this? Or is it just like going straight to voicemail? Honestly, in my opinion, you need to have a real person picking up your phone. And the reason for that is, I mean, whenever I call someone or some service, and if I get the press 1 for this type of thing, I hang up immediately because I hate it and I'm pretty sure everyone else does. So you want to make that phone call the easiest thing for your customer. You want them to speak to a real person that can actually give them information. And if you're not available at the time, don't hang up. First of all, whoever's picking up your phone, get an appointment with the client. Tell them attorney Mike, for example, will call you in 30 minutes. He's in a meeting right now, but he will call you. But first of all, before even saying that, make sure they get the client's information. Make sure to get like some details on the case, their phone number, their address, and stuff like that. So then, when you get back, make sure that that's one of the first things you do. Because if you're leaving people waiting, everyone's problem, no matter how small or big it is, in their eyes is the biggest problem ever. So there's always some other problems, some bigger problems from different people and stuff like that. But if you're having a problem with something, in your eyes, that's the biggest problem ever, and it has to be resolved now. So hence why people like to get answers as soon as possible. And after hours, you can always hire a call service, as I mentioned in one of my previous videos. Those services are not that expensive, honestly, and they can actually help you convert those leads that come in after hours to real clients. Just because when a real person picks up the phone, it's much better. So previously I mentioned that SEO is dying and that there's other ways of marketing where you're not depending on Google's algorithms and stuff. And one way of doing it is currently Facebook is one of the biggest networks in the world, at least for people that are potential clients. If you want to reach out to kids and minors, it's easier through Instagram and Snapchat, but most of the 25 or 35 and plus people are on Facebook. So basically, you need to run ads on Facebook. But what if I told you that you can actually run them for free? Let's say I have a course and I want to sell it. So you can actually run ads for that course for free. How? Basically, you put up something that's called self-liquidating offer. That's, in a nutshell, free plus shipping type of offer. And what happens there, clients cover the shipping, which is usually 9, 10, 12 bucks. And within those 12 bucks, you pay for your ads, you pay for the product, and you actually have some extra. So you can put that extra back into the ads, or you can keep it as your own revenue. I would actually recommend putting it back into ads, but it's up to you. So basically, let's say you make a 5-video series on how to apply for bankruptcy without losing your house. And you can buy those cheap credit card style USB drives on Amazon, and you can buy those bubble wrappers, the envelopes. And basically the shipping for it is less than $1 because it fits in a regular envelope. So you can get a pack of 100 USB drives in credit card style, and they're like less than 200 bucks. And I think like 50 of those envelopes is like 7. So basically your total cost of shipping and this whole product, it's like $3 or $4, and you have all of this extra. If you're selling it for 9, you're having extra $4 or $5 to put in the ads. So you're not paying for it, you're just putting down money that's eventually going to come back. So that's one way of marketing on Facebook, and we're going to talk a bit more about it in the future podcast. But for now, that has been it. I hope you liked it, and as I said, this is my first time doing it, so I'm not really that comfortable with it, but I'm always trying to get out of my comfort zone, and I hope I'll get better with this later on. Anyways, wherever you're watching or listening to this, I'll have my social medias linked. And as I said, if you haven't downloaded my ebook, it's lawyermarketingebook.com. You need to have that if you're a lawyer. And that's been it for this podcast. I'll talk to you soon.